Live from Fort Bragg's backyard, this is the show that put the 110 Nation on the map. There is only one nation, the 110 Nation. And you're listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show. Covering each and every sport across the board. There is no sport too large or too little. It's time to talk the talk. Here we go. Here's the man, the founder, and your host, Mr. CJ Sports.
Welcome to the 110 Nation Sports Show. I am your host, Mr. CJ Sports. You can follow me at CJ Sports 1. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Also, check us out on Facebook. My personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports. The 110 fan page, 110 Nation Sports. For all the latest, going on, what we got going on social media. You also check out our blog site, www.the110nationsports.com, and our company site, www.the110nation.com. Sorry, I was trying to, my headphones all tangled up on me. And I was coughing in the middle of everything, and just one thing after another. But anyway, glad to be here on this special Thursday edition. If you guys are new to the Thursday nights, what we do is we get things kicked off, over here on the 110 Nation Sports Show side of the house. And then we get joined by Steve Billmeyer and Rubbin' Is Racing on Thursday nights. So very excited about having him on tonight. We got him hitting us up about 9 o'clock. We'll have them over for about an hour, and then we'll get things wrapped up tonight. Started things a little bit earlier tonight. I have things that I have to attend to 110 Nation-wise. Right after the top of the hour. So we kind of started the show earlier so that shortly after 10 o'clock I can be off the phone versus normally going until 11 o'clock. So just got some important stuff got to get me taken care of here in the studio. But we still wanted to have a 2-hour show, so we just kind of moved it up a little bit and got this party started. Definitely looking forward to having Steve join us tonight, as he's got some great guests that will be joining us, so very excited about that. Tell you what, yesterday was a very interesting day. Today, not so much. Not when it came to the NFL anyway. So kind of hoping for, I guess all the big splashes were already done, and I guess I was hoping for another day of fun activity, but since most of all that was already taken care of, I guess there was no chance of that being a possibility. So there was still a couple things that happened today, so we're going to talk about that. Duke loses in overtime to Notre Dame. I don't see an ACC team winning it this year. I just really don't. It would take a remarkable run for any ACC team to win a championship this year. None of the teams this year have been consistent. There's just a lot of inconsistency. There's just a lot of, I won't say lack of heart, but they're not playing like the programs that they should be playing. And Duke losing really was not a shock in the ACC tournament, and them losing, all the ACC teams being knocked out. I don't think any of them will make them to the Final Four. I would be beyond shocked. There's too much inconsistency. Duke's. There we go. We are back. I apologize about that. The Wi-Fi has set itself, and since I go up on Spreaker tonight, Spreaker, you gotta have Wi-Fi. BTR we can actually call into. So a little bit different when we're on the Spreaker side of the house, and so when we got bumped off the eye there for a moment while it reset it, that caused everything to shut down. So hopefully, and the time's still going, so it only seemed like it was a second or two. So hopefully it's not wasn't too much long. But Chris Bosh, there was a lot of concern and scare with his health and not only his health, but the return to the Miami Heat. The best possible news has hit. Chris Bosh is free from any blood clots. Less important, but no less warming is his assertion that he hasn't ruled out playing basketball for the Miami Heat this season. Bosh missed most of the second half of the 2014-15 season with the condition that and hasn't played since February 9th while seeking forms of treatment, announced as much on Thursday. I was hoping that the text would come up so I could read you guys the text. Bosh made an all-star team this season while averaging 19.1 points and over 7 rebounds a game for the 37 and 27 Miami Heat. The team has rallied to go 8-3 in his absence, but the 31-year-old big man remains a significant force on both sides of the ball, and any return would be a major addition for Miami squad that is currently ranked 4th in the Eastern Conference. Statement from Miami Heat's Chris Bosh. I know there have been many questions regarding my health and when I will play again. My situation this year has never been life-threatening. I am feeling great, and currently I do not have deep vein thrombosis. Together with the Miami Heat, I am working with doctors exploring the best precautionary treatment options and taking every necessary step to make sure I am healthy for myself, my family, and my team. I have been working out, training with the team, watching film of the games, walking through plays, and have attended home games despite not being visible to the public. I will continue to support my teammates in every way possible. I remain positive that I will be able to return this season. I truly appreciate everyone's concern and support. Obviously, first and most fourth, yeah. There you go. His health was the concern, and we're just really glad that regardless if he makes it back to the court or not, that at least it's never been life threatening, and he'll be able to lead as healthy as life as possible. Now, on top of that, it's a blessing. Excuse me, that Bosh is able to come back to the court and will have an opportunity, possibly even this season, to help the Miami Heat, who were 8-3 in their last 11 games, 37-27, and for the Eastern Conference, and just really playing impressive basketball. I don't think still at this point they're a threat to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I don't even know if I would say a threat to the Toronto Raptors still at this point. And hell, let's throw Boston in. I'm not even sure if they can beat Boston in a 7-game series as good as Boston has been playing. But a very good team, a team that's got the right pieces, and there's a good possibility they might put it all together right before the playoffs and be able to make a nice good run with the in the playoffs and surprise some teams. That team is obviously a lot better with than without, and hopefully every precaution has been taken, and when he is able to return on the court, he'll be able to return at 100%, and there will be no dangers with it. But I can only imagine having your dream right there, and he's had a pretty good career, a couple championships. Has made his fair share of money, so it's not like he's going to be hurting and it's not like he's going to be cheated of anything. It's not like he didn't get an NBA Finals trophy, and it's not that he didn't get an opportunity to play with his friends. He got everything that I can imagine he was wanting out of NBA career. So if he is unable to return, I don't think that Chris Bosh would be too upset. So definitely hopes that he makes it back to the court. But either way, main concern is his health, and hopefully that is most and foremost looked after. There you go. Got it right that time. DeMarcus Cousins suspended one game by the Kings. All-star DeMarcus Cousins was suspended for Friday's game against the Orlando Magic for conduct detrimental to the team. Cousins was suspended for yelling at Coach George Karl during the timeouts in a 120-111 loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers on Wednesday. Sources told Yahoo Sports King Vice President of Basketball Operations and General Manager Vlad Divac levied the suspension. Cousins is averaging team best of 27.4 points and 11.5 rebounds per game this season. Cousins and Karl have had their share of run-ins since Karl was hired in the middle of last season. Karl drew the ire of Cousins after the coach said during the offseason that the two-time All-Star could be traded. Cousins also yelled at Karl in the locker room after the 106-88 loss to the San Antonio Spurs on November 9th and has voiced his displeasure with the coach to the media often this season. You know, if you were a basketball player that felt that you were deserving to be a starter, and you bumped heads with the coach and you weren't a starter, and you statistically and potentially in every aspect of it, there's no doubt that you should be a starter, then I can understand there being these issues. You're a starter. You're your team's best player. How tough can it be to be coached by George Karl? I mean, we've known DeMarcus Cousins since back when he was at Kentucky, and he let his anger and the frustrations and the immaturity out, and we was really hoping and honestly believed that now that he's in the NBA and now he's a professional, that now he would learn to grow up and act that way. I mean, that's what we all honestly thought. We didn't honestly think that it would carry on, and here we are still with the same DeMarcus Cousins. And, obviously I'm not in the locker room or was not there on the sideline to see what caused, the commotion. But you're an athlete. You're a professional. You got to learn to keep in-house problems in-house. You can't let that carry out onto the courts. Your team can't afford to have you sitting on the bench because you want to be insubordinate. I don't get it, and I think this is part of the part of the reason why we don't need such young adults, I guess, if you want to use that word. We use that very loosely with a lot of the NBA players that are one and dones, and they're still in their teens to 20 years old. I want to use that word very loosely now. I think that's just another prime example of why basketball players need to, in all sports, I think that they need to go and get their degree, and why they need to stay the 4 years in college. Because he goes to college 1 year, he never grows up. Then he goes into the NBA, and now not only have you not grown up, now you get a big paycheck and think your stuff don't stink. Now you think you can talk how you want to talk to who you want, how you want, when you think you can. And all these other misconduct misconducts and ignorant stuff that we see out of these athletes that have left early. And I understand it's not, there's athletes that stay the 4 years and do stupid stuff like that. So don't come with me with that, with the messages that, oh well, this person went to college for 4 years and look what he did. And this, I understand that. I know where I was at mentally, 19, 20 years old, and I know where I was at in my mid-20s, early to mid-20s, 23, 24. I know where I was at 20 years old, and I had done things that most people had not even done in their lifetime. You got to figure by, 19, was I 19? Yes, I was 19, I turned 20 while I was over there. 19 years old, I'm overseas. I'm in Bosnia, Croatia, Hungary. I'm over there with the efforts after the whole Bosnia crisis that went on in the mid-90s, mid to late 90s, because I was over there in 97, 98. So, even with that being said, and spending an entire year, I was in Hungary for about 9 to 9.5 months. I was in Croatia for about 2 months, and I was down in Sarajevo, Bosnia for about little over 2 weeks. And even having the opportunity to see that, now granted, that woke me up. I realized that no matter how bad I thought I had it, I didn't have it that bad. You gotta understand. We thought we had it bad because we had to mow yards nightly just so we had food on the table. We thought we had it bad because our mom worked 2 jobs and we never seen her. We thought we were bad, or we thought we had it bad because all of our clothes either came from like Big Lots or Kmart's, and this was before Kmart converged in with Sears and actually had good clothes. You had all this was back when Kmart was really cheap, and that's where we got our shoes too. Never, hardly ever. If we ever had a brand name, that's because we got it at a garage sale. We thought we had it bad for a lot of reasons. Then I get an opportunity to go overseas and see how these people are living. With the majority of their cars being, I can lay down. I have pictures of my sergeant laying down and extending his hands out, laying flat, and being as long as a car. To watch people hang up their clothes as we're in a convoy down in Bosnia, and you can see inside their house because the building has been blown up and they're missing their walls, and there's bullet holes and everything, and it's like golf ball size kind of holes. It's not some small 22 or nothing small. You're like, I can see it from the road. And I could see people hanging their clothes on clotheslines, no roof, no nothing. And this is how the people had to live. Now, even with that being said, and I go on many different things, unexplored landmines and stuff, they were getting set off all the time. I've seen a lot of stuff while I was overseas. And it wasn't all bad. I mean, there was a lot of great things that I got to experience by going over there. I got to go to my first nude beach. I got to hang out in the town. Everything was really cheap. We could go to what we call the media center. It was right off the post. And they finally opened up for us. Now, we had to take a bus from one part of the post to the other part of the post. And it was rather aggravating because these buses, one, are nothing like our buses. And two, you constantly had people. You had two full size, basically bases full of people, so they're constantly. So it takes sometimes it took forever to get back and forth. But we would take the bus to the other side of post, and when you walk off post, it was maybe 5 miles. You could see it from the gate, and you walked. Obviously, we didn't have cars, but we go in there and you use $10. You could have a steak meal and be drunk. It made no sense how cheap it was. They had to cut that out real quick because the soldiers were not acting right while they were in the media center and once they got back. So they cut that out. But got to experience a lot of cool things. I got to bring back a lot of stuff. I have Hungarian money. I just threw away, we call them shower shoes, but anything you put on your feet while you go to take a shower, flip-flops, sandals, whatever, I just finally threw them away. I got a jacket that I got overseas. So, I mean, I got to see a lot of things, needless to say. Back to the point at hand here. And it made me grow up. But I know how much growing up I still did at 20 years old when most of these kids are going to play in the NBA to when I would have been out 3 more years when I turned 23. There was a lot of growing up. You're mentally not you're not matured enough to be an adult and handle that kind of money and handle that kind of responsibility. A lot of players do, obviously. But there's a lot of players that don't. And I think this is just another prime example. And I know people are going to argue, well, that just shortens their life in the NBA and this, that. Well, there's no guarantees. There's only 5 guys playing on the court at a time for a team. So you're only looking at maybe, there's 12-man rosters, 30. You look at about 360 players in the league at most. How many come out and how many graduate every year? And then you multiply that because a lot of those players are not going anywhere. They might get traded, but if you're a starter in the NBA today, odds are you're going to be a starter again tomorrow, and you're going to be a starter next week, unless you're playing some piss poor basketball. So the odds of you actually making it is really slim to none. So not only is it wiser to educate these young adults and give them a degree, have them work for a degree so they have something to fall back on, but it also gives them an opportunity to mentally be mature, mentally be able to handle it. And like I said, I think that the NBA and the NCAA really dropped the ball on this. And like I said, I know I'm a very small boat. I also look at it at the aspect that colleges spend a lot of money in scouting and all these trips that they make to get these players there and all that stuff that they get under the table that nobody's supposed to know about and so forth and so forth. I feel that if the colleges are willing to invest all this time and this money into getting you, be able to give you a free ride to go to their college and help them win a championship, I think you should have to be committed to being there for 4 years. That's just my opinion. That's another reason why I feel this way. They're not mature enough. They're not able to handle all this. Colleges, they invest a lot of time and a lot of money into recruitment and scouting and all that stuff. I just feel that we're doing these young adults an injustice to helping them say, you know what, go ahead and leave college early, go for the draft, and when they never make it, they have nothing to fall back on, or they get drafted and eventually get cut, or whatever the case may be. I think that we're seriously doing an undue justice, but I think it's part of DeMarcus Cousins' problem. And, like I said, it could be just as much George Karl as it is DeMarcus Cousins. And, I didn't see the game, so It's all going off the reports. I just know that you keep in-house problems in-house. It's like those people that your girlfriend is fighting, you're beefing with your girlfriend, you're beating with your boyfriend, and you go talk about it on social media. Or your wife's doing this, or your husband's doing that, and you go to Twitter. Your boyfriend's doing this, and you go tell your mom or dad. Your girlfriend's doing this, and you go tell your mom or dad. You keep it in-house. One, it makes you harder to repair things when everybody knows your business, and now everybody's looking at you, and now you're worried about what decision you make because now everybody's judging you versus just leaving it in house. It's one of these things that you could have argued and yelled behind closed doors, and that'd been the end of it, like it was back on November 9th. But no, you didn't keep it in house. And that's a serious issue for me. I want my players to keep our problems in house. I want my relationships to stay in house. I don't want and don't need I don't need everybody in my business. It's kind of the same situation when right before is one of the discussions. As a matter of fact, I had with Shorty before we moved our separate ways. And I'm like, one of the things is you couldn't keep things in house. As soon as you didn't agree with something, you went and told your mom. Or you want to know why I was never friends with any of your friends is because every time you got around them, you would talk garbage. And so why am I going to have any kind of motivation or have any want to be friends with your friends? They're just going to be fake to my face and talk garbage about me while I'm gone. Why do I want to be part of that? And I'm just big on keeping everything in house. Anywhere I've worked, it's always been in house, and that's the way that I feel that it should run. And for those that listened to last week's show, we had technical difficulties while we was on the Racing with Big Sweat part of the show. Steve Vilmeyer's Messenger, it would send me messages, and it would show up my end that he has seen my messages, but he was never getting my messages, and he thought the whole time that there was nobody in the studio, and we was talking to the first guest, and we had 3 guests lined up last week, and so he ended up keeping the first guest for an hour, even though he was supposed to be done at 9:30 or 9:45 or whatever. The next guest was supposed to come on, and I didn't realize that he had no clue, or he was not getting my messages, which it looks like he might not be getting my messages again because I am not. He's not responding back to me. But I got his message, and it's crazy because it works sometimes and it don't work other times because we've had conversations all week long. But I'm hoping to hear back from him. But and so he kept the first guest until 10 o'clock, and then I didn't realize it until he said, well, I had the third guest call, and I was like, all right, and both of them were in the studio, and then he was like, well, if the third guest doesn't call here soon, I'm just going to call it a show, and I'm like, so I had to jump on the show because, outside of producing it on his segment, I join in between guests, and if I have questions, I'll jump in. But outside of that, the only conversations we have and the only time we talk is when I message him, and so I had to jump on the air real quick. I'm like, look, I don't know if you're not hearing me, or not getting the messages, and kind of find out he wasn't getting the messages, which was just crazy because the first guest hung out for an hour, and then he kind of had to shorten the other, and then both the calling guests had to wait 45 minutes each before we got to them, and it was a hectic mess. That all that went on, but yeah, so that was what that ding was for. Is we're trying to get things situated, but It doesn't look like because he jumped off the messenger, so I don't know. But DeMarcus Cousins, yeah, whatever. Tom Brady, his extension includes $28 million signing bonus. Tom Brady details still a bargain for the Patriots. Dollar for dollar, Tom Brady might be the best bargain in the NFL free agency era. Drafted in the 6th round in 2000, Brady has been an instrumental part of the New England Patriots, winning 4 Super Bowls in the 16 years since he was selected at 199th overall. In that time, Brady has never been the highest paid player at his position, despite his accolades and the team's success with him under center. While that has certainly made team brass happy, Brady believes that his taking less will mean a stronger team around him, though that belief has not always been rewarded, such as in the 2012 when Brady reconstructed his deal to give the Patriots salary cap relief, but the team did not re-sign the quarterback's top target, Wes Welker. Now, as he enters what may be the final years of his career, Brady may finally be paid like a far less successful peers. Last week, he signed a new contract, one that restructures the last 2 seasons of a 4-year deal he signed in 2014, and also tacks on 2 more years. Those 2 years, 2018 and 2000, they got a lot of confidence that he is going to be playing for 3 or 4 more years. Total $41 million, which if realized, put Brady just over the $20 million per season plateau. In all, Brady can earn a maximum of $60 million over 4 years with $30 million guaranteed. I tell you what. See, signing bonus $28 million, base salary $1 million guaranteed for injury. Brady's earnable cash $29 million. Patriots cap hit $14 million. That was in 2016. 2017 base salary $1 million guaranteed for injury becomes fully guaranteed 1/3 day of 2017 league year. Brady's earnable cash $1 million. Patriot cap $14 million. 2018 base salary of $14 million. Wow, we probably got all that $1 million base salary. There you go. He's messaging me back. So looks like we're good to go. $14 million base salary, roster bonus $1 million, $62,500 per game. That's just ridiculous. Why does he need to have the $62,000 more? He's already getting paid almost $1 million a game. Not counting the earnable cash of $15 million. And then this final year of the contract, base salary $14 million. Same roster bonus. Brady's earnable cash is still $15 million. And Patriots cap hit will hit $22 million, which I would be surprised if they go ahead and take that hit. That would probably be about the time Tom Brady retires. I can't see them taking that big of a hit. Now they might. I think that the Patriots are hoping on retirement at that point, but because I can't see everything that Tom Brady has done for the New England Patriots. I can't see him saying, you know what, or I can't see the Patriots saying, you know what, we're going to cut you. We're not going to pay you that $22 million. So honestly, I think what the Patriots are probably hoping on is by 2019, Brady is ready to go ahead and put up the cleats, call it a career, and that way, the only other thing is possibly going to happen is a restructure of the contract. I mean, they can afford it, but I just don't see them paying him and wanting to pay him anyway. And obviously, they're not going to cut Tom Brady. I would say I would be shocked, but then again, Brock Osweiler decided not to stay with the team that's the defending champions and is already kind of, he's used to and they're used to him and the success they can have. Instead, he goes in the direction of Houston, which is in a rebuilding mode still, cutting Arian Foster, adding Lamar Miller. He's still got DeAndre Hopkins. You're hoping that Jadeveon Clowney is going to finally do something on the defense. Like I said, I know that you're making about $3 million, a little bit over $3 million more a year, and it sounds enticing, but I just don't think that I would have left. So, as much as I would like to say, I would be shocked. I've learned not to say that now. Oh my goodness! Before we get Steve Billmeyer on here, and we're joined by Racing with Big Sweat, as I am calling into the show right now, so that we are getting ready to be popped on there as well. Make sure you guys check us out on Twitter. You can check me out at CJ Sports 1. You can check out the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Also check us out on Facebook. My personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, the 110 Nation fan page, 110 Nation Sports. Also check us out, our blog site, www.the110nationsports.com. Also check out our company site, www.the110nation.com, for all the latest going on here at the 110 Nation. Don't forget, Monday through Friday, you can check out the 110 Nation. The 110 Nation Sports Show, 9 p.m. every Monday through Friday. Also, you can check out Happy Hour Garage Sunday night, 7 p.m. That is followed by the Dirt Talk Hour at 9 p.m. And then, of course, Monday nights we have Rubbin' Is Racing. And Steve Billmeyer joins me for Rubbin' Is Racing. And we cover all things prior weekend. This show we'll be talking about Phoenix International Raceway. Looking forward for the opportunity to sit down with Big Steve Big Sweat Billmeyer, and be able to talk about some racing. Oh goodness! As we're getting ready to pop in here, we're gonna go ahead and call in. That way we get everything.
Blog Talk Radio. Your show is scheduled to start in 52 seconds. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
There you go. We're 52 seconds away from being joined by them. Now this is the one program that I wish that I had the option to mute the elevator music. This would be the one time that I don't get to mute it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to cut that off for a second, so that way we are not being over-talked, and not everybody's going to hear that, and get ready to go live in here in 10 seconds, so not too bad of a deal. Kickback, got a couple great guests. He has Jay Hedgehawk and Mark Stewart joining us tonight. I'm very excited about that.
Howdy, race fans. How the hell are you? Steve Billmeyer here, a.k.a. Big Sweat. I'm going to hang out with y'all for about an hour or so and talk to some people, see what's going on. We'd like to hear from you, too. Call in. Questions or comments to 718-664-9861. Give us a call, comment, ask a question. I'll send you a bottle of that world-famous Snafu seasoning, an excellent spice mixture that goes good with anything. So I got a case of this Snafu sitting here, so call me. I'll send some out. Let me check in with my buddy, my producer, my main man on 110 Nation Sports, Mr. C. My mind's drawing a blank. CJ Sports. Sorry about that.
Oh, what's going on? Hey,
how you doing, CJ?
I'm not doing too bad tonight. Glad to be here tonight. For those that want to call in, make sure if you guys call in at 718-664-9861. If you're wanting to get on the show, you got a question for the host or a question for the guest, make sure you guys press 1. That lets us know that you're not just listening into the show, but you're actually wanting to come on the show. Because we got a lot of people that call into the show and listen to that way because they're out and about with their phone and earbuds and doing whatever. I know I have people that call in and listen to the show while they're doing laundry and house chores. So make sure you guys press 1. But glad to be here tonight. Very excited about listening into and partaking in tonight's guests. They look very intriguing, and I'm very excited about being here tonight.
Yeah, it should be a good show. It'll be a real good show, really. We were planning on talking with a young driver, Mark Stewart. We're waiting on him to call in. He's from up north. I think he's from New York. I know he races at Riverhead Raceway, so if anybody listening knows him, call him and tell him to call in. We're ready to go. And we're also going to talk with a good friend of mine, a man who's won races in asphalt modifieds. He's now runs his own enterprise, Hedgecock Racing Enterprises. He builds chassis for late models. As a matter of fact, the two-time defending NASCAR Whelen All-American Series late model stock car driver Lee Pulliam.
Are you just listening in, caller, or are you one of the guests?
Very successful, real good chassis, and he's a real good guy. We're going to talk with him, talk about his modified days, and talk about things he's got going on now with the chassis and numerous other things. While we got a minute, CJ, you want to talk about what happened last weekend at Vegas?
We can. I liked it. I think that this new, the downforce package that they went ahead and used for 2016 is really making these tracks that I was not so much interested in watching. I just have my certain tracks. I'm a Daytona, Talladega, Bristol, Martinsville road course kind of guy. And, Charlotte's just a hop and skipping away from here, and I've been there more than any other track that I've ever been to. But it has its periods where it just gets drawn out in a lot of races that have not been very competitive because everybody's single file. This downforce package, one, has changed that and has made this race, these tracks, a lot more interesting to me, but also it's given us an opportunity to see who the real racers are.
Yeah, definitely so. It's putting more.
Thanks for calling in, caller. Are you one of the guests?
Yes, I am.
Are you Mark?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'll let him know.
Okay.
They could stick dynamite and blow a car off the track with it. I mean, the car is really stuck. And they cut that back some with the downsizing of the rear spoiler, the splitter, and the ductwork and underside pan that's under the radiator and everything, connects the radiator to the grill opening. It downsized that, so there's more air flowing under the car than it has before, and that's creating lift, which is not a good thing. You want downforce. So I'm like you. I'd like to see that low downforce package in all the tracks. I think it's the way to go.
Oh, yeah.
But that's enough NASCAR. Let's get back to what we talk about, local short track racing. My first guest tonight is, like I said, the young man from Riverhead Raceway. He's been pretty successful.
Muted.
He's looking to move up. Anybody out there from the New York area got some sponsor money and looking to spend it, get in touch with this young man, Mark Stewart. Mark, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, finer than hen's teeth. How's the weather up there?
Oh, it was beautiful today. Past couple of days have been absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice here in North Carolina. It's supposed to be through next week. Let's see. You drive a late model super truck up there at Riverhead?
Yes, I drive a Super Pro truck at Riverhead Raceway.
Which shifted your focus to the truck? Was that just something different you wanted to try?
Well, I raced about 7 years in go-karts previously.
Yeah.
And I was looking to move up. So my uncle told me I had an opportunity to race a truck when I turned 15. So the year before, I would just practice every week. He would let me take the truck out once a week, let me practice. And then, when I got better and progressed, the next year I got an opportunity to race it, and I think I did okay. I had 4 victories, 4 top 5s, and I wrecked a couple times, but I guess that's part of the learning.
Absolutely. If you aren't wrecking, you aren't trying. I hate to ask this, but how old are you?
Right now, I'm 18, a senior in high school.
They started young. How young were you when you started racing?
I started racing go-karts when I was about 6.
Jeez Louise. Well, this ain't your first lap around the track. You have got plenty of experience.
Yep, I have a lot of laps there, so it's a very familiar place for me.
And like you said, you had a pretty good season. 4 wins, 4 top 5s. What do you think the biggest reason you had a good season? Is it because you know the track? Because you know how the truck should drive? What is it?
I think it's a little bit of everything. It's knowing the track, knowing when to run, how to get good momentum coming in and out of the corner. But a big part of racing at Riverhead is you definitely have to handle it very well. And my Uncle Chris does a great job setting up the truck. Excellent setup, man, with everybody else that helps. And he definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to setup. So a lot of credit to him, and I'm just out there having fun driving it.
I hear you. You mentioned your Uncle Chris. Is your team a family-run operation, or do you drive for somebody else?
I drive for somebody else, but we do have a family team here. My grandfather raced for I don't even know how many years. My uncle about 30 years. My Uncle Chris has been racing for about 20, and my Uncle Roger has been racing for about 12 years now. So it's definitely a lot of racing for my family.
Yeah, definitely so, and it gives you a lot of experience to draw from. In case you have a question or want to know something, they go to the track with you.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? I couldn't hear you that well.
Do they go to the track with you?
Oh yes. Every week we all race at the same track, and it's good to get input from them. So if I'm doing something wrong, they let me know, and it's definitely good to have them around.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't understand what I said before. I'll try to downsize my southern accent a little more to make it clearer. What are your plans? What are you looking to do with your racing? Are you looking to move up?
Yeah, I'm looking up to move up to a crate modified division that's going to be new at Riverhead this year. I got an opportunity from someone that said if I can come up with the money to get a motor, crate motor, which is about $4,500 to $5,000.
Yep.
I could race it, and I'm trying very hard, asking everybody I know. I've asked kids in school, I've asked people that own businesses, and I've just been asking so many people, and not many people sponsor right now, but I'm hoping to get some big sponsor out there somewhere.
Well, that's what you got to do. You got to knock on doors, and you got to have a thick skin. Not let it bother you if you get rejected. You just walk on to the next one, and you might go through talking to 100 different people about sponsorship, and 101 might be the one you need. So you got to keep driving, got to keep going, and you know it's a goal you want to meet, so that helps a bunch too. I hadn't heard of crate modifieds before. Is that something new?
Yeah, it's very new.
Well, good. I don't feel so dumb. Are they just running them at Riverhead, or is that going to be like a Northeast thing?
I think right now they're just at Riverhead, but they're hoping to make it bigger and expand it everywhere.
I heard that. Modified racing is pretty big up there in the Northeast. And there's a lot of top-notch drivers, a lot of history up there. So they draw good crowds, and it's very interesting racing. The other guy I got coming on tonight, Jay Hedgecock, has driven and won races in asphalt modified, so he's familiar with them and done pretty good with them. Does the thought of having more horsepower and having a greater power-to-weight ratio, does that make you nervous, or are you interested?
It definitely gets me interested. I love the speed. For me, the faster the better. I definitely like going fast, and getting in the car and racing is definitely it's a big adrenaline rush.
Yeah, definitely so. Any plans to go to the Top Tier Series, Sprint Cup, or trucks, or Xfinity? Are you looking ahead to that?
Yeah, one day, and I hope one day if there's anybody out there that would like to give me a break in this modified, I definitely think I could prove myself to be good enough to be able to race maybe in the modified tour, start there, and then work my way up if possible.
Yeah, well, given your track record, I'm sure you do good in it. Probably do very good. So, like I said, sponsors, you want to put your name on somebody that's up and coming and a very good driver, check out Mark Stewart. He'd be well worth the effort, for sure. You have any plans? You said you were a senior in high school. Do you have any plans to further your education out of high school?
I'm still thinking about it. Graduating this year. I don't know if I want to go to college yet, or work first year, see if there's anything I like out there. Or go to college and try to find something I like. Hopefully I do. I like working with children, so I might go to college for that, or tech school, learn mechanics, engines, whatever I can learn.
Mm-hmm. There you go. That's a good idea, but to get your hands on a crate motor, it's audio tire education. I got races to run.
Yep.
Well, that's cool that you're interested in children. Do you do anything for children to tie in with your racing?
I haven't gotten the opportunity to have a children's organization sponsor me, but if that ever comes up, I would love to be with kids, and anything to do with kids, I would love to do that.
That's a good deal. That's a good attitude to have. I'm glad to hear it. Kids are important to racing because they're your next superstars coming through the sport. You can see that now in cup racing with Jeff Gordon retired and Tony Stewart retiring and Jimmy Johnson and Jr. in their 40s now. There's a lot of people looking at retirement, but at the same time, there's a lot of young guns in Xfinity and Camping World trucks that are ready to step in and take their place. So it's going to be a bit of a trigger now. Tell me about Riverhead Raceway. What's it like racing up there, and how big is the track and everything?
Riverhead's it's really fun to race. It's a little boring. It's a little quarter mile. It's rough. It's beating and banging, hitting everything. Everything is a short track that you could possibly think of, it probably happens there. It's a lot of fun racing there. It's you get a good group of guys to race with, and you'll have a blast. You'll have the time of your life.
Sounds good. Do they draw a good crowd of cars there for the weekly shows?
Yeah, I think they draw a decent amount. You know, it's never bad.
I had never been up there, but I've heard about it. You're the first person I've talked to, but for any length about it. A gentleman named Mike Perricone hooked us up and had a lot to do with this, and I understand he's a figure at Riverhead quite a bit. So shout out to Mike Perricone for putting this together, bud. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty cool guy, and I read his blog and stuff. So he's a good guy to know in racing. Definitely a good guy.
Oh, for sure.
Do you stick to running Riverhead all the time, or do you do any traveling and run any other tracks or big shows?
I haven't. I've only raced at Riverhead, but my uncles have gone out to Stafford, Thompson, Monadnock, Lee, all those other tracks, and I'm hoping one day that I get a shot to race on one of those tracks.
Yeah, there's a lot of good competitive tracks up there in the Northeast. It's not hard to find a race up there if you want to race. So that's a good deal to have. What kind of cars did your uncle race?
My uncle started off in a Charger car. It's like it's a version of a late model, I guess you could say. It's a little slower, a little less horsepower. He raced that for a number of years, and then he raced that and a truck at the same time, like four or 5 years ago. And he also got a Legend, which for him didn't work out too well. But he's definitely kind of expanded a little bit, tried different things, and it was definitely fun watching him race those different things. And he's had success in both, and everything he's raced. And
he
in the
sounds
Charger,
like a good person to have on board, since he's also raced trucks, so he can tell you from experience how a truck's supposed to race and how it's supposed to feel and everything. That's cool that you got him on your side.
Oh, for sure, there's no doubt. I definitely look up to him and everybody else that I raced with in my family. They're all amazing, and I don't know, they're the best racers I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to have your family involved in it quite a bit. Your parents go to the races with you?
Yes, they do.
Cool deal.
Yep. I also have two younger sisters that one used to race go-karts, but she didn't. After a while, she didn't like it very much. But she comes, she watches. It's fun.
That's cool. The two sisters are the only ones you really got that might compete in motorsports in your family.
Yeah, I think. Actually, my uncle just had a son, but obviously it'll be a little while. But I think when he grows up, I think he'll definitely be a big racer.
Well, if you started at 6, it's not going to be that long a while before his son's going to be strapped in a car, too.
I agree.
Yeah, you know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yep.
I got to ask, is your mom one of those race moms that kind of sits in the truck peeking through her fingers at what's going on? Or is she the type of race mom that if somebody put the tire mark on the side of your car, she's at their pit box wanting to haul them down and talk to them?
I definitely think she's the second one. She's definitely somebody happy. Yep, she's definitely in there yelling, screaming, everything. She's down there and hollering at the guy and yelling at him, and it's...
Oh, that's great. That's cool. your biggest moment in racing so far? What's your best memory?
I think my best memory was a race I had 2 years ago. It was there was a caution with, I don't know, 6 laps to go, and I was sitting fourth, and we went green. I passed the guy in third, so I got third. It's about 3 to go. The guys in first, second are side by side. I'm going. I don't know which line to choose. One guy pulls ahead, the other guy doesn't, and then they switch. And then 2 to go, same thing. Where I'm behind. I'm trying to figure out what to do. 1 to go. We go into turn 3 and 4, coming around for the checkered. And I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna push this guy ahead of me. I'm gonna set him up and see what happens. And I pushed him up. I got underneath him, and he beat me by like .002. I mean, it was the most exciting race I've ever been in, and that's probably the most memorable race I've ever been in.
Yeah, I bet that was exciting. Last lap dash to the finish. And on the other hand, what's something you'd like to forget? Like splitting the seat out of your driver's suit, not wearing any underwear or anything like that.
I haven't had anything like that happen to me, so thank God. I'm knocking on wood that never happens to me. But I've definitely had I think my first season racing, the first 3 races I wrecked out. Yeah, it wasn't fun, but I guess it happens, part of racing.
Oh yeah, it happens quite a bit. Even to people with experience, they still crash out. So don't hold that against yourself. With the racing that you do and everything, are you at the shop much working on the car?
Yeah. I mean, last year since I drove somebody, the car that I raced wasn't here a lot. But with my uncle's cars, and I try to be there as much as possible with schoolwork and projects. And after I do all that stuff, I gotta try to get out there and do what I can.
Definitely so. It's an advantage to know your race car from end to end. It gives you a edge on some of the other guys that aren't that interested in their car, so that's a good thing too. I got a note here from Mike Perricone. Roger is your uncle, right?
Yes.
Okay, I see he was the New England Truck Series champion one year. So you've got quite a few people that got some experience with trucks, so you're in the right seat right now.
Yeah, I'm in the right family. I got the right group of guys here, and that was fun watching him do that. I was lucky enough to be able to go to some of the races out of state, and those other tracks are so cool, and hopefully one day I get to race at those tracks and be as good as he is on those tracks. I mean, he's one heck of a driver.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like you got a family full of drivers, and you're the next. With the racing and everything, how's your social life?
It's pretty good. I got a lot of friends at the track and at school. I play a lot of different sports, so that helps. Baseball, hockey, sometimes football for fun, basketball. So, I try to stay active with most of my friends and go see a movie or something once in a while. Go out, do something fun.
Got a girlfriend?
No girlfriend right now.
Your girlfriend sitting on jack stands in the shop, huh?
Yeah, that's right. She's waiting for me.
There you go. While I got a minute here, give a shout out to anybody you want to recognize, your crew, your sponsors, your family, shop dog, whoever.
I gotta give a shout out to my parents. My dad's the one that got me a go-kart and got me into racing, and big thanks to them. My Uncle Chris for the hard work he puts in the garage and the setup in the cars and everything he does is just unbelievable. The amount of hours he puts in the garage and what he does is just unreal. My Uncle Raj for helping me out, always supporting me in the racing. Everybody has. There's so many people I could thank.
Take your time. We got all night.
All right. Sounds good. I gotta thank my grandpa for helping me out too. He, you know, for an older guy, he definitely put some moves on me this year racing with him. He definitely still got it. Definitely showed me some tricks that I learned this year that I've never even thought about before. Who else? I gotta thank my Uncle Ray out there, mechanic. He's a great mechanic. He won Mechanic of the Year, I think.
Cool.
As a craftsman, he was he's definitely big with the race cars. So if I have any questions, I could always ask him. Some of my friends from school always, you know, wish me luck, congratulate me if I win or if anything happened. Oh man. I just think Dave Koenig. That was my truck owner last year. In the past 2 years,
yeah.
He definitely is a big help. Let me race, getting my career started in the truck. 11 wins in 3 years. I definitely have a lot of people to thank for that.
11 wins in 3 years. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, that's. I had 4 wins my rookie year. 4 wins my sophomore year, my second year, and I had 3 wins this past year, but this past year I feel like was my most consistent year. So I feel like this last year I'm coming off of is a pretty good year. I got third in points 2 years in a row. My rookie year got 5th. The 2 third in points I lost by like 4 or 5 points, so it's been tight the past couple of years. It's definitely been fun with all the guys I've been racing with. You know, great guys, clean, hard racing. It's definitely a lot of fun. I'm definitely
so. It sounds like you've got a real good base to build off of and everything. So I wish you luck with that. Being an 18-year-old and senior in high school, how do you balance your time between being an 18-year-old and racing?
It's definitely a little tough. Sometimes schoolwork could get in the way, but then again, you know, sometimes my friends, if they're not doing anything on a Saturday, they're like, "Oh, you want to hang out?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm going to the track. I gotta race." You know, that's like my one day of the week I get to, you know, be free and go race. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely tough sometimes. Sometimes playing multiple sports at once, like racing and baseball. And then on top of that, school too.
Keeps you busy, huh?
No, for sure.
Well, while we're at it, take a minute and let your fans know how they can follow you on social media.
I'm on Facebook, Mark Stewart. I don't have a Twitter. Instagram is Mark Stewart 8. And that's all the social media I got. But I have if you go on my Facebook page, I have a GoFundMe. So if there's anybody out there who wants to sponsor, anything will help. Really trying to get in this modified. I'm really trying to push everybody. I feel like this is a great opportunity for me to show what I got to everybody and to prove myself. But I'm just hoping that hopefully I get that big sponsor and get this modified deal going.
Good deal. It sounds like you've got a lot of drive and determination for racing and to get to the top of racing. That's a good attitude to have. It's good to hear.
For sure. I'm I love the sport. I love racing. I feel like I'm really good at racing. This is the one thing that I really love to do. And for now, until I get that sponsor, I'm not racing anything. So hopefully, someone you come through, or many people come through for sponsors, and I would be very grateful to them for sponsoring.
Well, good luck with that. I hope it works out for you, and I hope you get in that crate modified. That sounds like it'd be a pretty cool deal. Mark, I enjoyed talking with you. Glad I got to meet you, and if I ever get up that way, I'm definitely coming to Riverhead. Like I said, I've heard a lot about it here in the South. That's kind of unusual, but yeah, I've heard of it, and I'm pretty interested in what goes on in the Northeast with the modified racing and everything. So if you're not a member, join my group, my Facebook group, NASCAR and Other Racing, so I can keep up with how you're doing, and my group members can keep up with how you're doing too. And like I said, good luck with the 2016 season. I hope everything works out good for you.
Thank you. I will join your group. I'll make sure I'm in there, and yeah, you should definitely come to Riverhead. It's fun. It's fun to watch. Good racing, and thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you again for coming on, and I'll be watching you. I'll keep up with you. Thanks, Mark.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Good deal, folks. That was Mark Stewart. Drives up at Riverhead Raceway, and if you're up that way, stop in. I've heard that they have good races, a lot of action, and they're pretty good about crowd control. You can take your family there and not be embarrassed by what somebody sitting beside you might say or do. So that's a cool deal. Well, let's get to talking with my next guest. I've known Jay for, 20 years or so. Like I said, all of our chassis that we raced for our late models were all Hedgecock chassis. And Jay builds an excellent chassis. Has a lot of wins with a lot of different drivers. So let's get to talking to him. Jay Hedgecock, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Steve. How are you?
Doing good. Long time no see. I'll have to do something about that.
I know. You're going to have to come back and see us at the racetrack here pretty quick, or I'm going to have to ride down there and see you.
It'd probably be easier for me to make the trip. I mentioned earlier about your modified experience. Tell us how you did in the modifieds and where you raced at.
Yeah, we raced the modifieds off and on from 1988 till 2005, and we stopped for a little while and then did a little bit of cup racing in the middle. And we had a lot of fun doing the modified cars, and we were fortunate enough I had teamed up with people that had enough money to do it properly, and sponsorship-wise, we were good from that standpoint. It made it easier to win races, and we won a lot of races, won a lot of poles, and we won the Southern Modified Track, the Series Championship twice. And it was a lot of fun.
Did you ever go up north, race your modified up there?
Well, we went up and we raced in Indiana at Indianapolis Raceway Park a couple of times, and we raced at Pocono. I went up north and drove a couple of cars that were based out of the Northeast. We didn't get to race up there a lot. Our schedule kind of limited us on how much we could travel when we were running the tour races down here.
Yeah, travel, it's a bit of a stretch to travel up there into New England and back for a weekend race. What shifted your focus from racing modifieds to building late model chassis and building late model cars?
Well, we had built the late model cars all along. We've actually built those previous to building any modified cars, really. And but in 1983, when they converted things to late model stock car, we kind of jumped on the bandwagon with the late models then.
Yeah, and you've definitely been successful with those. Mention some of the drivers who are driving Edgecock Racing Enterprise chassis.
Right now, you have, Lee Pulliam, he drives them. Tommy Lemons. Philip Morris has driven the things for several years now. Mike Snyder drives them. That's just to name a few of the people that are racing now, and there's a lot every week.
Yeah, Tommy Lemons won that late model race at Southern National up the, didn't he?
He won last week at Caraway, and he won the week before at Myrtle Beach.
He's definitely started the season off strong now. One of the things I always liked about working with you was if I was having a problem at the track, I could call your cell phone and you talk to me and try to help me work out the problems and everything, which is a great thing to have, that you can talk to your car owner at times of trouble, or your car builder at times of trouble, get some advice on how to get out of it and get the car running better. That's a cool deal. A lot of customer service goes into your work, from what I understand.
Yeah, we try to keep it on a personal basis. Most of my customers have my cell phone number. My wife doesn't care for that too much, but that she understands that's part of the business. But we go test a lot with customers, and then if people have a problem, I'll get in and drive them sometimes. And I'm getting up in years, but I still like to do it.
Yeah, that's another bonus of having your chassis is they can take you to the track for practice and get you in the car and give your input on it. How much time do you devote to your business and racing on the weekends and everything? It sounds like it pretty much cuts into all your time.
Yeah, it's pretty much a 7-day-a-week affair. I try to have time with my wife and family. My son, one of them, he races a lot, and I go with him sometimes. But it turns out to be, usually about at least a 6-day week for this deal. It's kind of like when you own your own business, you don't really have too many off days in this sport.
Your son, what's he racing now?
He races a little bit of this and that. He races late model cars, and he races some go-karts. Then he's going to race some super late model races this year too.
Cool deal. How old is he?
He's just turned 22. He's been racing go-karts. We started those when he was 7, and so he's raced late model cars. Started racing late model cars some when he was 15.
They are so young these days, but it's a good thing. You teach them early, and it just gives them a longer career. Does he have any plans to carry on the racing, to go to the higher series?
He wants to, but it's everyone else and your previous guest is talking about is sponsorship. We can't do it out of our pocket.
Yeah.
You can run, sporadically here or there, but to really be good at it, Steve, as I know, you have to do it, every week to really know what the car is doing, and to be able to relay that back to your crew, and to get the last couple tenths out of a car. And the bottom line is money. If we're able to secure sponsorship, then we'll run more and more.
Yeah, it all kind of revolves around sponsorship nowadays, and I kind of hate it because it keeps a lot of good drivers out of better rides just because they can't get the money to move up or anything. So sponsorship's definitely gotten to be a bigger and bigger part of it. Definitely. So, we mentioned Lee Pulliam, who's won a 2-time defending champion. in late model stock cars. What do you think makes him that good? Is it your chassis or the motor he's got or his driving style? What do you think's his greatest asset?
I really think it's his, the way he drives, and he's able, he knows what he wants to feel in a car, and he's one of those drivers that's able to fix the car himself. He can work on it. He did his deal now kind of like I did when I started driving. I learned from Tex Powell and some other people how to fix a race car. That's the big thing is there's a lot of people that can drive them, but the big thing is being able to know how to fix them when it's not doing what you want it to do. But then Lee really has a lot of talent behind the wheel, and you combine that with his knowledge of how to fix a car, as we call it, then it's hard to beat him. He's on his game 99.9% of the time.
Yeah, he's really tough to beat anywhere he shows up. He's a hell of a race car driver from what I've heard and what I've read and everything.
Yes, I'd say he's one of the top late model drivers that has ever been in the late model stock car series.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, he's not a development driver for somebody. I think he'd be a good candidate for that. Like you said, he can fix his car. He knows his car from end to end, so that's a bonus, too. So maybe somebody will snatch him up and give him a chance at a higher-level car than what he's in now. That would be great for him and great for you, too. Do you build any chassis other than late models?
And we build super late models. We do some modified work still, and it depends. We do about all your short track type of chassis, whether it's trucks, and we do some Camping World truck chassis here.
Ooh, shit, my mind's drawing a blank. I had something on my mind I was going to ask you, and I have forgot all about it now. But you've built Cup chassis in the past, haven't you?
Yes, we built all Richard Petty's cars there the last few years that he raced, and then we built Earnhardt's cars the last 3 years that he raced. We built everything but the super speedway cars. We built all the short track and intermediate cars here. And then we obviously built my own cars that we raced, Cup cars.
Well, your reputation is definitely out there because you built for some winners. Do you still have your school there?
Yes, we have a school that we do 4 times a year where we do it's a fabrication school where we teach people from welding to sheet metal work to fitting roll bars, building. So it's like an 8-week course that we do.
You're out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. That's a cool deal. That's really hard to find a way to learn how to fabricate and stuff like that. From what I understand, some of these so-called racing colleges and things like that, they cover the basics, don't give you any detailed information, and you have your school right there at your shop, don't you?
Yes, it's right here where we do all our work for our customers and stuff, and so they get to meet a lot of people. We've had a really good hiring success rate out of this deal here, where over 60% of the people that go through the school wind up getting jobs in motorsports. A couple of them actually started their own business, and It's a lot of fun. You know, you get to teach people how to do this. There's a lot of good people that's taught me how to do this over the years, and it's worked out well for me, and we just try to help other people out.
Yeah, like I said, there's not too many places you can go to get that kind of education and hands-on experience. So, guys out there listening, it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you want to work on a cup team and want to learn to fabricate and things like that. It's definitely worth your while to check out Jay's school. I'm sure you can learn a lot from it. I learned a lot from you, Jay, just, being associated with you and stuff. I know you've got a lot of knowledge to pass around and pass down to your students, so that makes it even better. I'm glad to hear it's successful, too. A 60% hiring rate is pretty damn good. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have a deal with several of the cup teams now that, when we have school going on, they're usually in the market for people to hire, and we send them down. And we actually had one of the students in the last school that he actually got a job with Hendricks before the school was over with, and he left the school early and went to work at Hendricks about 3 weeks ago.
Wow. That's a cool deal. I bet he's excited about that to get in right away.
Yeah, he was wanting to move up here from Florida and pursue a career in this, and it just kind of sped the process up. He had to have clothes and belongings shipped up here a little bit earlier than he was planning, but it worked out well for him.
Yeah, definitely so. A change in plans, but a change for the better. What's in your future? What have you got? Anything going on for Hedgecock Racing Enterprises? Something you're working on new now?
Well, the last couple of years we've been leasing cars out. We do a lot of leasing with the late model stock cars and the supers, and we've got kind of a truck team here. We've got 5 Camping World trucks that we're getting ready, and we're pursuing drivers and sponsors, trying to maybe run a few races in that series if possible.
Yeah. But again, it all comes back to sponsorship, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you worked with some of these people in the past, and your father, he spent a lot of money on this racing, and firsthand, how expensive it is, and it's a lot of fun to do this, but I mean, the average person doesn't realize how many dollars and hours go into this until they're around it, and then most of them are amazed.
Yeah, they have a picture in their mind of buying a set of tires and some racing fuel, and that's about all it takes, and that's not even close. Not even close what it's going to cost you to race every week. It's a tough deal to hoe, but if you've got determination, you'll make it, Like I told Mark Stewart, the last guest that was on, you just got to keep knocking on doors, and sooner or later somebody will open one for you.
Yes, I mean, you just can't try for a little bit and give up. You've got to keep, like you say, trying to knock on doors and doing the best you can do. And it only takes that one opening. I mean, you look at Jimmy Johnson. I remember when he drove your father's car. Nobody knew who Jimmy Johnson was, and look at him today.
Yeah. Yeah, who'd have thought back then that he'd be a 6-time champion in Cup now?
Yeah, I remember when he drove your car at Martinsville, and I mean, it was, nobody had a clue who Jimmy Johnson was and really didn't figure he was going anywhere, but Chevrolet took an interest in him, and I guess they kind of steered into your father's car, and y'all did a good job with him, and, you could probably say that y'all had something to do with him being where he is today.
Well, I I am proud of the fact that the first stock car he ever got in was a Bill Meyer Racing late model. It was a pretty cool deal, too. He was, at the time, Jimmy was driving stadium trucks and off-road trucks and wanted to drive stock cars, and he was on a factory Chevrolet team, and Herb Fischel, the head of Chevrolet Motorsports, tried to find him a ride, and Herb called Rick Hendrick. Rick called my dad and said, "Will we run him for a while?" And that's how it got started. And like you said, it's just snowballed from there for Jimmy. I'm rather proud of him that I got to know him that early and everything, and I feel like I had something to do with his career anyway. Might not have been much, but at least I give him a ride.
Yeah, I mean that's like I say, it only takes that one chance meeting or that one chance that somebody gives you to prove yourself, and these people, such as your previous guest, Mark, he just needs to keep knocking on the doors and trying. There's always hope as long as you don't give up. And I was fortunate enough, I got started in this early, and I wound up getting to drive for a living. I started when I was 18 years old, and I've just worked hard at it my whole life to kind of get where we are now, and it's paid off. Made a lot of nice friends, such as you and your father, and it's been a blessing just to be able to be where I'm at today.
What got you started? How did you get a seat at 18?
I've been racing digits on dirt, and one of my good friends was Howard Stewart, who was Cliff Stewart's son, and he had race cars since the 50s. And Howard was about the same age as me, and he had shown an interest in the race cars, and his daddy told him, well, if you want to run one, get somebody to drive it, and we'll get you some money and see how it goes. And so Howard came to see me one night at my little shop where I was working on my midget, and he said, Daddy said I could have a couple of race cars. You want to drive one next week? And I was like, sure, yeah, we'll do this. And so a week later, I had a couple cars in the shop and working on them, and they said, well, you just work on these cars, and we'll put you on the payroll. And it snowballed from there, and that's, I told everybody I'm qualified to build and drive race cars or work at McDonald's. That's pretty much what I would be considered able to do. So.
Yeah, that's a hell of a question to ask an 18-year-old race car driver. You want to race? You want to drive my cars? I mean, that's an opportunity and a half there. That's a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, at the age of 18, and in the 1970s, that was kind of unheard of. I was getting to race against people like Sam Ard and Jack Ingram and Jim Hensley, and that's who I started racing when I was 18 years old, and it was a lot of fun, but you learn. The better the people you are around, the more you learn, and that's what helped me driving. Was you race against people such as Sam and Jack and Jimmy every weekend, then you can see where you make a mistake when you follow them, and vice versa. When you're in front of them, you make a mistake and they drive by you, and it just made me a quicker learner, I think, just because of the caliber of people that I had to race against.
Yeah, when you're building your career and coming up and everything, it's the best thing in the world is to find a mentor, somebody that can teach you and help you how to get through. When I came to work for my dad, I had been a tire tech at Hendrick Motorsports, and I knew tires, but I didn't know that much about chassis or anything like that. And I talked to you a lot, and I learned a lot from you, and I'll be eternally grateful for that. You really helped my racing career out a bunch, Jay. While we got a minute here, give a shout out to anybody you want to recognize.
Well, there's been a lot of people that's helped me over the year. I mean, Cliff and Stewart and Howard Stewart, they're obviously at the top of the list, and they give me my chance. I could have been driving midgets, for years, and that'd been the end of my career. But thanks to them, But my father, he had been around racing his entire life. He never owned one.
Yeah.
He helped people. He helped Bill Blair when Bill Blair actually won the Daytona 500 on the beach. My father he drove the race car to the racetrack and back. My father, he at an early age, he took me to see a lot of people. Ken Rush, that drove modified cars for years. Max Berger is somebody that I really look up to. I always loved watching him drive the gold 12 cars at Bowman Gray.
Yep. He's a hell of a driver.
Yeah. He's kind of one of those that I call a sleeper. He won a lot of races, and he was one of those that he was always there in the top 4 or 5 every week. Butch Lindley was somebody that I admired racing against. Somebody that I said earlier, Tex Powell, he taught me more about racing at an early age, the technical aspects of it. A very, very smart man about racing.
Yeah, he definitely is. I know he crew chiefed A.J. Foyt's NASCAR efforts and Cup and everything. So he's definitely had a lot of good experience, and he's a sharp guy. He really is. Take a minute to let people know how to keep up with you and how to follow you on social media.
We have our website, which is for my business, which is www.hedgecockracing.com, and then you can go. We have Facebook, Hedgecock Racing, and we have Twitter accounts, which are all Hedgecock Racing. You can follow us on Twitter. My wife, she does a lot of the posting for me. People think that I do all this posting, but I'm not able to do all this and kind of look after everything that I'm supposed to be looking after. But if anybody is wanting to get in touch with us, they can call us, and we're in High Point, North Carolina, and the phone number's on the website and on the Facebook, and we'd be more than glad to talk to you about race cars or rentals or the school, or if they just want to talk about their own race cars. We try to help people. We sell parts and such here too.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about being associated with you and around you, really, is you'll take the time out to talk to somebody that either shows up at your shop or calls in with a question or something, and you won't brush them off. You'll try to help them out, and that's one of the things that makes you great, Jay.
Well, thank you, Steve, and it's been good meeting and working with people like you and your father and a lot of hundreds of other people that we have over the years, and it just makes it where you get up in the morning and you think, I'm the luckiest person in the world. I get to go do and get paid to what I want to do, and it's worked out well. And so we try to help everybody. Because if I'd have snubbed people, then I might not have met some of you and some of these other people, and nobody ever acted like that to me when I was trying to get in this sport, and I just try to return the favor.
That's a good point to make. You didn't forget where you came from and forget the other people that helped you out early. That's really cool, Jay, and I really enjoyed talking with you, and I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. And I'm trying to make plans to go to Bowman Gray and see that bombshell one night. So I'll be right there by High Point. I'll try to get over there and see you that weekend too.
Well, it'd be good to you, and if you just come over a little early, and we'll go get a sandwich, and we'll talk about overtime some.
There you go. Mention any dates, so people will figure out how old we are.
You're right.
Jay, thanks again, buddy. Good talking to you, and keep doing what you're doing because you're really good at it.
Well, thanks, Steve, and if you need anything, or I'll be glad to talk to you anytime you want to.
Well, I appreciate that, Jay, and you're a good friend. You're a good man to know, so thanks again for all the help you've given me over the years.
Well, you're welcome, and like I say, my door's always open.
Yeah, it is. Well, thanks again, Jay, and we'll talk to you later, buddy.
Okay, goodbye.
We'll see you. And that was Jay Hedgecock, ladies and gentlemen. That's, if you're looking to build a late model, that's the man you need to talk to about a chassis. He's got a ton of people driving his cars that win week in and week out. So they'll perform, and now if you've been listening, that you can get all the help you need from the man that runs that show. So check them out. It's Hedgecock Racing Enterprises in High Point, the furniture capital of the world, in High Point, North Carolina. Well, CJ, what'd you think of tonight's show? It's pretty cool guys, huh?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was really cool listening to him tell the stories and talk about that school and how successful they're being with that, and just be able to help create all these drivers and possibilities. It was just really cool to hear it.
Yeah, it definitely is. Me and you are going to have to get together and do that Bowman Gray weekend. Check that deal out.
Oh, yes.
We can probably catch another race on Saturday night, so it'll be a show. We definitely got to go do it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that just put a bug in my ear. That's who I need to get on here, is a driver from Bowman Gray and get the inside story on everything that goes on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If some of you people listen to Bowman Gray Stadium ring, and fans there every Friday night are shoulder to shoulder. They absolutely pack the grandstands and everything full, and they put on a show that you won't believe. Go to YouTube. You can see some of the stuff that goes on there, so check it out.
I've checked out a few
let
videos.
everybody know what you got going on and everything.
You guys can check me out on the 110 Nation Sports Show every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Also, you can check us out on Facebook at 110 or the 110 Nation Sports, and you can check out my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports. Also, don't forget, you guys can check us out on Monday night. Steve and myself back at it Monday night, 7 o'clock. Rubbin' is Racing. We'll be talking about Phoenix this weekend's race. So looking forward to that.
Who do you think is going to take home the hardware at Phoenix?
I think it's about time for a Stewart Haas vehicle to end up in victory lane. I want to say, I think Kevin Harvick.
Harvick, pretty hard to count out there.
Yeah. And Kurt's Busch car last week was very strong, so I wouldn't count out Kurt Busch. If I had to pick out of the two, it would be Harvick. But I think that 41 team's got something this year underneath there, and I'm expecting them to do good things.
Yeah, they got off to a good start, so I think it's just going to get better and better for them. While we're on social media thing, if you want to find me, you can go to Twitter. I'm at Big Sweat, the NASCAR Heartbreaker and Home Wrecker. And on Facebook, come join my group, NASCAR and Other Racing. Yeah. People like Jay and Mark and other guests on this show, local short track racers, are members there, and we get together and we talk amongst ourselves during the races and stuff, and it's a pretty cool deal. Come check it out. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Well, CJ, I'm get out of here.
That it is.
I got to thank you for giving me the opportunity you have to do this. I really enjoy it.
Oh,
and I really enjoyed working with you and everything, too.
Wouldn't trade it for the world. I get to have a legend on the radio, on our radio network, so I grin ear to ear every Thursday.
Well, I'm going to have a good show next Thursday. I'm going to try to find somebody from Bowman Gray and get them on here and let them explain what goes on there for the people that have never been there, never heard of it.
Most definitely.
And like I said, if you're not familiar with it, go to YouTube. There's plenty of footage on there you can pull up.
Oh, yes. I've done that quite a few times.
The dog's looking at me like, will you shut up and take me outside? So we'll wrap this up for tonight, and thank you to all our listeners. We appreciate you tuning in. Check us out Monday night, 7 o'clock. Rubbin' is Racing. We'll be talking NASCAR, CJ and myself. So listen in. Take care and have a good weekend, people. We'll talk to you later. Good night.
Thank you
It's
for
always
using
a
Blog Talk
blast
Radio.
having an
Goodbye.
opportunity to do the show with Steve Billmeyer. It's just always great. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we went ahead and we combined the two shows, because you get the opportunity to sit with a legend. And just listening to the fact that Jimmy Johnson's first stock car ride was Steve Billmeyer, and know that he crew chiefed Tim Richmond and Jeff Bodine, and to see the people that he's been around and the stories he has, and the fact that he gave like all the input to go to Days of Thunder and all that, like it was a consultant to the movie. It's sometimes I don't even know what to say when he's thanking me, and I'm saying that you're thank you, you're on our network. You're this is beyond real to me. Like I'm just beyond beside myself. But it's really cool, and just to be able to hear the stories and have an opportunity to hear stories and get to meet new drivers and new athletes and those that are going to help shape the future in Sprint Cup Series. It's a cool thing to have the opportunity to do, and here we are tonight getting to do it again, and then getting to go old school and bring some old stories all at the same time. If you guys didn't listen to the last episode right before Christmas break, if you guys get an opportunity to go back to that one, we had Damian Bean on the show, and he now co-hosts with Chris Creighton on the Dirt Talk Hour. And we got to talking about the old days, and got to talking about him and his input with the Days of Thunder. And that was probably one of the most memorable times for me, because it's great. And see, I get to say all this, and he's not doing it because, I know Steve's not listening to me at this point. So we're now just strictly on Spreaker, and I don't think he's ever listened to anything on Spreaker. I think he only listens to BTR. I don't even know if he knows about Spreaker. So, this is not one of the things I'm saying it because I'm assuming he's listening. I'm assuming he'll never actually hear this. But, it's been really cool when it was brought to us that he was wanting to bring his show onto our network. Ms. Lee asked me, and I'm like, do you really need a response for me? Is there really a second thought here? And it's been a blast We've had Chris on the show there for a while, and then Damian was on the show. And you know, a lot of times back in the day, I would help more. I tried to let Steve do his thing. There's been many nights though I've been more involved with the interview process. And usually we have a break in between and we talk a little bit. So, but yeah, it was a no-brainer. And then you know he's had his health issues, and you know it's had us all worried here at different times here at the 110. You know, any time that you have health issues, and you know, just glad that he's been back and he's been healthy, and I've had the opportunity once again to learn more and be able to sit in. It's one of those things that's just really cool, because when I got into this, you know, one, I had no idea what I was getting into, but once I did, it's been a learning process, and I've got to learn so much. Like I had no idea that I would be able to have the conversations with the people that I've had conversations, and gone to the places that I've gotten to go, and get to meet the athletes that I've gotten to meet. It is beyond a dream, and you know, if it gets no more than me doing this out of my house every day, and we just have the staff we have, and this is the best it gets, I tell you what, I'm happy with it. I am beyond happy with it. It's phenomenal. So, I don't know, it's just really cool. And not every network gets, you know, to have such a legend. He's a legend to me, anyway. You interested to join the 110 Nation after I did a pep rally? Honestly, this is not where I was going to go with it, but if you're interested in joining the 110 Nation, all you got to do is hit me up, MrCJSports@gmail.com. We would love to have the opportunity to look for a host of a show, or if you have a show, maybe you want to have it syndicated onto our network, we would love to do that. Maybe you want to come in like we have Izzo. He comes in 30 minutes a week and talks about a specific sport, what he's an expert in, and Izzo does a phenomenal job Tuesday nights. We love having him on talking NHL. But if you're interested in join the 110 Nation, just hit me up, MrCJSports@gmail.com. Also, or if you're interested in writing, we have the blog site, and we love to have some more writers come on board. Also, if you're what did I say? Interested in coming on the show? Or being part of the 110 Nation? If you want to be part of the 110 Nation, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Okay, I got it right. If you want to come on the show, I want to make sure I didn't get these emails mixed up. If you want to come on the show, all you got to do is hit up Miss Lee. That's Lee, that's LEE_110nation@yahoo.com. Just hit her up. If you're an athlete, part of some kind of athletic organization, team, whatever the case may be, maybe you got a show or site and you want to come on and promote it and talk sports, or maybe you got some charity or foundation that you want to promote, like we have the Seek to Destroy Cancer next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, March 19th, here in Fayetteville, and raise money to help cure cancer. And they also got the More Than Just Me, More Than Just Miles events, 5K run down in Florida, to raise money for cystic fibrosis. So got those things going on. If you got those kind of things, we would love to have the opportunity to have you come on and kind of give an opportunity to get it out there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Make sure you guys check me out at CJ Sports 1, the 110 Nation, 110 Nation. Make sure that you check us out on Facebook, my fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, the 110 Nation fan page, 110 Nation Sports. Check out our blog site, www.the110nationsports.com. And also check out our company site, www.the110nation.com, for all the latest going on here at the 110 Nation. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, we're back at it again. Make sure you guys are here.
Listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show with Mr. CJ Sports. You are a part of the 110 Nation, so be sure to visit the110nation.com for everything related to the show. You can follow CJ on Twitter at 110 Nation and on Facebook at 110 Nation Sports. Until next time.